Hi everyone, it's Kim from Affordably Crafty, and today on Affordably Cooking we're going to be using the entire corn cob. So we are going to be using some of this nice in-season corn. We're going to be using the cobs, the kernels, the outs. I'm going to show you or tell you what you can do with the outside, and even these frondy things or the silks. If you're new here, welcome. My channel is all about teaching you how to stretch your craft and cooking dollar and be affordably crafty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram and join my Facebook group, where I post about all my steals, deals, and freebies I find in my travels in the crafting world. So today we're going to be making a corn broth that we're going to turn into a corn chowder, which is an awesome vegetarian recipe. And then I'm also going to talk about what you can do with the husks and the silks too. So we're not wasting any of it. All right, I'm going to turn this camera around and show you what we need for ingredients and equipment. So for this first part of the recipe, we're going to be making our corn stock. And so for that, we're going to be using 3 corn on the cobs and some water. That's what we're going to need to make our corn stock. To make the corn chowder, we're going to need the corn stock you just made, the corn kernels, butter, an onion, salt, heavy cream, and that's what we're going to need. So this soup is going to be made with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you count the stock you make ingredients. And we also need a pan, which we're going to, a baking pan, which we're going to use for the corn husks and silks, a pot, a bowl, and also a food processor. All right, let's open up this corn. Okay, so this is our fresh corn, and the first thing we're going to do is, oh, you also need a chef's knife. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut off the bottom of this, and it's going to make it a lot easier to get our husks off. Now be careful when you do this, because this corn is thick, obviously. It's a corn cob. Got that, and then I'm going to cut off this dry part on the very end. Okay, and this one. I'm going to save that. This is just going to be composted. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take off the leaves one by one. And we're going to do these exact steps with every corn cob. So here I'm just using 3. If you want to make it bigger, you know, double the recipe or whatnot. We're going to try and take these off whole though. Okay, so for these, what we're going to do is we're going to take the biggest pieces, the nicest ones, so like this. We're going to put them on a baking tray. And we're going to dry these in the oven so that we can use these to make like tamales or something like that later. So I'm just going to take the nicest ones. The ones that are broken like this, they're just going to end up going into the stock. Or the ones that are really skinny. That makes sense. Like that piece. Put them over here. I'm going to put them in a single layer. And I'm going to turn my oven down as low as it will go. And I'm going to keep the oven door slightly ajar with like a tea towel or something like that, just so it doesn't get all steamy in there. And these dry parts on the top, I'm actually going to take off, because those are no good. I know that seems counterproductive because we're drying it, but trust me. So, like, these are too small. So these are going to go in the stock along with our little end. I'm going to lay these out on a bigger baking tray. And again, put the oven down as low as you can go for 8 hours. And we're going to dry these out so that we can in the future make that. Okay. Now we're going to take off the silks. But first we're going to cut off this brown part on the top. That's all dry. that is just going to be composted. So what we're going to do, these little stringy things, these are the silk of the corn. So we're going to take these off and put them in a pile. And now, obviously, don't do anything without your doctor's consent. But you can look up the benefits of corn silk tea if you would like to. It's good for a lot of different medical type stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the corn silks on a tray, very similar to the corn husks. Put the oven on as low as you can. And then put them in there till they're dry, probably like around the same amount of time as the corn husks. And make sure you spread them out into one single layer. Okay, so now that we have our corn all cleaned off, what we're going to do now is we're going to put it in the bottom of a bowl like this. Pull you out a little bit. And carefully, we're going to go down the side and take the kernels off the corn. Now it really helps if when you cut off the bottom of this, that it was flat. That'll make your life a lot easier here. And then you just turn the bowl and keep going around the sides of the corn until we have the kernels off all three of these cobs. And I'll see you back here in a minute. Hi, it's future me. You know when you're doing a tutorial or a video and you think you hit the record button and you just didn't? So that's what happened here at this point in the video. So to make the corn stock, you're going to take the leaves that you're putting in the stock, the husks, and you're going to take your cobs. You're going to break the cobs in half with your hand. Don't use a knife. It's way easier just to snap them. And then you're going to cover the cobs. I went about halfway up my pan. And you're going to bring it up to a boil. And then once it's at a boil, you're going to bring it down to medium low. And you're going to let it simmer for 45 minutes. And that's the step there. Okay. Okay, we've been simmering away now for 45 minutes. And, steam. I put a mesh strainer over this bowl. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain out our corn broth. And these things are done now, the leaves and the leaves and the corn cobs. So those are just going to get composted. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do next, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we made about a little bit shy of 5 cups of corn stock. This is what it looks like, a nice yellow color. Don't mind that fuzz. And now we're going to start in on our chowder. So at this point you have corn broth. This can cool down completely and be frozen. It's only good for a couple days in the fridge. So we're going to use this in our soup. So we're going to chop up our onion. And it really doesn't matter if these are uniform pieces. It's going to be blended afterwards, so don't kill yourself with uniformity. We're peeling this onion and we're just going to be giving it a rough chop. Sorry, my allergies are bothering me today, guys. Rough chop on the onion. You just don't want to put humongous pieces in here. That to the side. Do the same thing for the other side. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our butter. If you don't want to use butter, you can use a substitute of your choice. And we're going to take 1/4 of a cup of butter, which is 4 tablespoons, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put it right back into the same pan that we had the corn stock in. Why dirty another pan? And so I'm going to put that on medium. And that butter is going to melt down. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our onions in there to get softened. So, hold on a second. Okay, so we're just melting our butter. Then once our butter's melted, we're going to put our onions in the pan. Okay, now we're going to put our onions in, now that our butter's melted. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is put a couple sprinkles of salt in there. And again, I use kosher salt. Yep, go ahead, buddy. Can you reach back there? Pick up some salt. And put it in. Okay, there you go, buddy. Thank you.
Now what?
Now we wait for it to cook. Alright, these are nice and softened up now. And I'm going to take my beautiful corn kernels from my 3 cobs and put it all in. And then I'm going to do some more salt in there. And stir that up. And we're just going to saute this corn for about 5 minutes, and I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Okay, our corn has been sauteing on medium for about 5 minutes, and what we're going to do is a 1-to-1 ratio of our heavy whipping cream and our corn broth. So we're going to do 2 cups of corn broth, and my ladle has a measuring mark on the inside. And then we're going to do our 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. Stir that together. We're going to bring that to a boil and then reduce it to a simmer for 45 minutes, and then I'll see you back here. See you in a minute. Okay, so we've been simmering for 45 minutes, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take our soup and we are going to very gently put it in our food processor. We are not going to fill it up all the way. We're going to fill it about halfway, and then I'll show you what we do after that. Okay, so we're putting about halfway up on my food processor. Now I'm going to put the cover on. We're not going to put this in. That's how it explodes. We're going to put a towel over the top of this. I'm going to hold this and I'm going to put it on the lowest setting. See you in a second. This is what we look like. I don't like to make it velvety smooth. I like it to have a little bit of texture. And that's about how thick I like my soup. So now I'm going to put it just into some bowls and show you what it looks like. This is what our finished 5-ingredient corn chowder looks like. Let me know down below if you made it and how it turned out. Please like, share, and subscribe so your friends can learn how to be affordably crafty and cooking too. Have a creative day, everyone. Bye-bye. Happy cooking.